Long ago, in the sun-kissed village of Umokwe, where the trees hummed secrets of the ancestors and the wind whispered the destinies of children yet unborn, there lived a girl named Olama. Olama was beauty woven into human form. Her skin glowed like the morning sun on the brown river bank. Her eyes sparkled like stars peeking through night clouds. And her smile, when she did choose to smile, could melt the hardest hearts. Everyone in Omokwe knew Olama. Boys fought to carry her calabash from the stream. Girls whispered about her silk-like hair and tried to imitate her walk. But Olama knew she was beautiful. Too well, in fact. She walked like the earth belonged to her. She spoke like others were lucky to breathe the same air as her. Her voice, though sweet, often carried the sting of cruelty. Her parents were among the wealthiest in the village. Her father was the Obi's most trusted advisor, and her mother traded the finest fabric and coral beads in all 7 clans. Olama lacked nothing except humility. She was intelligent, yes, top of her age group in the village school. But she used her sharp mind not for kindness, but for cutting words. She never shared her food, mocked anyone less dressed than her, and treated even her closest friends like handmaids. "You're only here because you're lucky to know me," she would say with a shrug, and they would laugh nervously, unsure whether it was a joke or not. But the worst came on a day when the harmattan breeze was heavy, and even the trees stood still as if holding their breath. An old woman approached Olama by the village square, bent over and trembling with a walking stick carved from Iroko wood. "My daughter," the woman said gently, "please help me carry this basket. My legs are weak, and my journey is long." The woman's wrapper was tattered, her eyes sunken with years of hardship, but her voice carried a quiet dignity. Olama looked at her, then burst into laughter. "Is your own daughter dead?" she sneered. "Do I look like your slave? Carry it yourself, old thing. Or better still, crawl." The entire square went silent. The woman's eyes filled with tears, not just from the insult, but from the weight of something deeper, something older. She didn't curse. She didn't shout. The only thing she said, her voice trembling, "Life has a way of planting mirrors in the heart of those we birth. May your reflection teach you what your pride won't." And with that, the woman left. Later that day, Olama's best friend, Adaobi, approached her. "Olama, what you did today wasn't right," she said softly. "That woman, she could have been your grandmother." Without hesitation, Olama slapped Adaobi across the face. "Leave my presence and never return," she said, eyes cold. "You think you are better than me now?" Adaobi left in tears. And from that day, not a single person dared question Olama again. 10 years passed. Olama grew into a woman whose beauty silenced rooms. It didn't fade with time. It ripened. Her cheekbones high, her skin untouched by the sun's cruelty. Her voice like silk flowing through the wind. Whatever she does, wherever she went, eyes followed. Suitors crossed rivers and deserts to win her heart. Sons of wealthy traders, noble men from faraway kingdoms, and even a prince from the east. But the one who claimed a hand was Prince Ezemadu, the last son of the great Obi of Agbami. His presence was magnetic. His words rolled like thunder, softened by the rain. They married in a ceremony that turned the sky golden. Drums danced into the night. Palm wine flowed like river. And even the stars seemed to gather for the occasion. And so Olama became Princess Olama of Agbani. Her life was everything she had imagined as a girl. Her palace gleamed with gold. Her wardrobe overflowed with silk from Egypt, Ankara from Ghana, beads from the Niger Delta. Her servants sang her praises, and her husband loved her dearly. But fate remembers. When she became pregnant, people whispered blessings. A child from such beauty must surely be sent from the gods. When the child came, a girl, they were not wrong. From the moment Nneka opened her eyes, everyone felt it. Her gaze was ancient. She looked around the room like she had seen it all before. She never cried, just stared, observing, measuring. She will be great, the village seer declared. They named her Nneka, meaning Mother is Supreme. But none understood just how true the name would become. As Nneka grew, the signs began. At 2, she pointed to her mother during a royal feast and said, "Your heart is too sharp. That's why people bleed when they love you." Everyone laughed nervously. They called it childish nonsense, but Olama felt her fingers twitch. At 4, she wandered into the servants' quarters and slept beside a maid. When asked why, she said, "She cries every night. I don't like how loneliness tastes." At 6, she refused to eat a lavish meal and asked that it be given to the children by the river. "She is different," the cooks murmured. At 8, she began calling her mother not Mama, but Olama. It started quietly, just once. "Olama, don't wear that today. You are mourning inside." Olama laughed, but inside she shivered. At 10, during the festival of the New Yam, something changed. A blind woman approached the palace, begging for food. The gods pushed her away, but Nneka stopped them. She walked up to the woman, took her hand and kissed it. "I remember your tears," she whispered. The woman paused. "My tears?" "Yes. When they fell, the earth drank them, and I followed their taste back here." Then, without waiting for permission, Nneka led the blind woman to the royal table. She sat her down and fed her herself. Yam, stew, and roasted fish. The crowd went silent. The elders nodded amongst themselves. But Olama, she felt like the air had vanished from the earth. That night, she stormed into her daughter's chambers. "Who are you?" Nneka, brushing her hair, turned slowly. I told you, Olama, I am the mirror you refused to face. Olama gasped. Her hands trembled. Suddenly, the air thickened. Shadows moved strangely on the wall. The oil lamp flickered, and for a split second, Olama saw the old woman, the same one she had mocked years ago, standing where the daughter stood. The voice came, not as a child's, but as a woman's, raspy, ancient. You shamed me before men. You laughed as I begged. You thought your crown would last forever. But kindness outlives beauty. Olama fell to her knees. But this was only the beginning. Over the months, her life began to unravel, not in big ways, but in subtle, gnawing ones. First, the mirrors stopped showing her reflection. No matter how polished the glass, she saw nothing, just darkness. Then her laughter vanished. No matter how funny a tale, how joyful the event, Olama could no longer laugh. Her joy dried like a stream in Harmattan. Next came the whispers. When she walked, she heard voices. Not loud, not clear, but always there. She has no heart. She left me in the dust. She will know what it means to be nothing. She began to withdraw. Her eyes lost in their shine. She started fearing her own daughter. One morning, she awoke to find her royal clothes torn to shreds, her jewelry twisted like snakes. She screamed, and Nneka appeared. It's not the gold that makes you royal, Olama, she said, then walked away. Her husband tried to help her, but each time he did, he would fall mysteriously ill. Only Nneka's presence revived him. Soon, servants began to avoid Olama. They whispered that the palace was cursed. She began to wander into the village, barefoot, searching for peace. But every time she tried to help someone, carry a child, offer food, share gifts, they would reject her. You mocked us when we had nothing, one man spat. Keep your royal pity. Olama wept in secret. Until one day, she came across an old woman sitting under a tree. She offered her water. The woman took it, then said, "You are learning." Olama blinked. "Do I know you?" "No," the woman said, "but your soul is starting to remember." From that day, Olama began to truly change. Not to earn back respect, not to reclaim beauty, but because something inside her broke. And in that breaking, light entered. She began walking barefoot through the forest, through the markets, sweeping stalls for old traders. She washed clothes for poor widows, played with children, and sat in silence beside the grieving. Slowly the village watched. They didn't clap, they didn't praise her, but their eyes softened. One evening, she went to Adaobi, her old friend, the one she had banished for correcting her. Adaobi was now a respected midwife and herbalist. Olama knelt at her doorstep. "I don't deserve your kindness," she said, "but I ask for your forgiveness." Adaobi stared at her for a long time, then pulled her into an embrace. They cried together like children. When she returned to the palace, Nneka was waiting. "You have changed," the girl said. And for the first time in years, she hugged her mother. A warmth spread through Olama's body. The next morning, she looked into the mirror, and her reflection was there. Older, softer, more human. That night, Nneka smiled in her sleep. And for the first time since her birth, her spirit, the spirit of the old woman, began to fade. Nneka became a child again. Not ancient, not strange, just a girl. Years later, Olama became more than a queen. She became a mother to the people. Loved, not feared. Honored, not worshipped. She taught young girls that beauty without kindness is like a drum with no sound. And every evening, under the village tree, she would sit with children and tell them, "Pride is sweet until it poisons your heart. But kindness will save your soul." And somewhere in the wind, if you listen closely, you will hear the laughter of an old woman, now at peace. Beauty fades. Power shifts. But kindness echoes beyond lifetime. What do you think of this story? If your child could reflect your true character back to you, what would they show? And would you be proud of it? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Let's interact. Hey friends, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales like this one. And hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story when it drops. Thank you for watching. More beautiful stories like this on the way.